Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever studied English for hours or maybe even for years, and you still feel like it just doesn't stick? You forget words, you mix up grammar, or you freeze when speaking? Don't worry, you are not alone. The problem is not you. The problem is most people never learn how to train their brain to actually absorb a language. Think about it this way. If your brain is like a smartphone, most learners are trying to download English apps without updating their operating system. The apps crash, they don't work smoothly, but once you train the system, your brain, suddenly everything works faster. That's what today's episode is all about. How to rewire your brain, how to make your memory stronger, how to boost focus, and how to use science-backed techniques to learn English faster than you ever thought possible. Imagine you want to run a marathon. You don't just go buy running shoes and show up on race day ready to go. You train your body step by step, building endurance. Learning English is the same. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity. This means that it can change shape, grow new connections, and literally rewire itself depending on what you practice. Here's a little story. A friend of mine, Javier from Mexico, always thought he was just bad at languages. He failed his English exams in school. Then by the time he was 25, he avoided speaking English completely. But one day, he moved to Canada for work. At first, it was painful for him. He couldn't order food. He couldn't chat with coworkers. But instead of giving up, he decided to train his brain. Every day, he listened, practiced small conversations, and used the techniques I'll share with you today. Then within 12 months, his brain was different. He went from avoiding English to giving presentations in English at his company. That is the power of brain training. The first way to train your brain is through daily habits. Your brain doesn't like sudden, massive effort once in a while. It prefers short, consistent routines. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't brush your teeth for 3 hours on Sunday and then just forget about it the rest of the week. You brush a little every day. That's how you keep your teeth clean. Your brain is the same. If you want English to stay, give it small doses every day. Listen to an English podcast while cooking. Read one article or short story before bed. Write a single English sentence about your day in a notebook. These small habits train your brain to expect English daily. Slowly, English stops being study and becomes life. Now, here's a brain training secret. Most learners review passively. They read notes, watch videos, or underline books. But passive learning is weak. What your brain needs is an active recall. The act of pulling information out of memory. Let me give you an example. Imagine you learn the phrase, "I'm looking forward to it." Passive learning means you see it on page, you nod, and you move on. Active recall means you close the book and ask yourself, wait, what was the phrase again? Can I say it out loud? This moment of struggle is where your brain grows. It's like lifting weights. The resistance builds strength. So instead of asking, how many hours should I study? Ask, how many times did I test my memory today? Let's be honest. Why do you remember song lyrics from 10 years ago, but not grammar rule you studied last week? Because music makes you feel something. Emotions act like glue for memory. If you want to train your brain to keep English, you must connect emotions to it. Watch movies that make you laugh or cry that are in English. Learn words that describe your real feelings: happy, frustrated, proud, nervous. Don't just repeat sentences from a textbook. Talk about your own life. Make it personal to you. Here's a story. A student of mine, Aisha, used to memorize lists of random vocabulary, and she forgot them within days. Then she changed strategy. Every time she learned a new word, she connected it to her emotions. She learned exhausted on a day when she was really tired from work. Guess what? She never forgot that word again. Your brain keeps what your heart feels. Another brain hack is visualization. Your brain doesn't think in letters. When I say dog, you don't see D-O-G, you see the image of a dog. So why not use this to learn English? When you learn the word run, don't just say it. Picture yourself running in the park. When you learn success, imagine yourself graduating, smiling, or achieving your dream job. The stronger the image, the stronger the memory. Athletes use visualization before games. Why not language learners? Here's something powerful. If you teach what you've just learned, you double your retention. You don't have to be a real teacher. You can explain a new word to a friend, record yourself teaching an imaginary class, even write a short post online explaining the grammar that you've learned. When you teach, your brain organizes knowledge more clearly. It has to structure the information, and in doing so, it saves it deeply. This is why I always encourage learners to speak, even if it's just to themselves. Your student, quote unquote, might just be the mirror, but it's still teaching. Here's another secret. Your body and your brain are connected. If you sit stiffly in a chair for hours, your brain gets sleepy. But if you move, you remember better. Try these. Walk while you're practicing vocabulary. Use hand gestures when speaking English sentences. Act out small dialogues like you're in a movie. Research shows that combining movement with learning creates stronger memories. It's like writing words not only in your mind, but in your muscles too. Most learners think they need more study time, but often what they need is more sleep. During sleep, your brain organizes what you learned that day. It's like hitting the save button on a computer. Without sleep, the file just gets lost. So if you study for 2 hours but sleep only 4, you'll lose so much of it. But if you sleep well, your brain will automatically review, strengthen, and store the new English that you've learned. You are literally learning while you sleep, if you give your brain enough rest. Finally, the most powerful brain training tool is your belief. If you keep telling yourself, I'm too old, or I'm not smart, or English is too hard, your brain closes. But if you say, every day I improve, I can learn this, mistakes are part of the journey, your brain opens. There's even science behind this. Psychologists call it the growth mindset. People who believe they can grow actually learn faster. So train your brain not only with exercises, but also with kindness, encourage yourself, celebrate small wins, and stay positive. let me tell you about another learner, Samira. Samira moved from Egypt to the U.S. She knew some English, but she was shy and nervous. At work, she avoided speaking because she was afraid of making mistakes. Then, she decided to train her brain. Every morning, she listened to a 10-minute English podcast. She wrote one new word in a notebook and made a personal sentence with it. At lunch, she walked around the park, repeating phrases out loud. At night, she explained to her husband the new grammar she learned as if she were a teacher. And then she slept a solid 8 hours. Most importantly, she reminded herself, I am improving every single day. Within 6 months, her coworkers noticed. She wasn't the quiet one anymore. She joined conversations, made jokes, and even trained new employees in English. This transformation wasn't about talent. It was about training her brain. So let's quickly recap the 8 ways to train your brain to learn English faster. 1. Build daily English habits. 2. Use active recall to strengthen your memory. 3. Connect emotions to what you learned. 4. Visualize and imagine words. 5. Teach what you've learned. 6. Combine movement with study. 7. Sleep well to save your learning. And 8. Keep a positive growth mindset. Now here's my challenge for you. Pick just one of these methods today. Don't wait for next week. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start training your brain now. And remember, your brain is not fixed. It's flexible. It's powerful. With the right training, you can make English a natural part of your life faster than you think. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, share it with a friend who's also learning English, and keep coming back because your journey to fluency is just beginning. See you next time.